everyone! So welcome to my last Young Justice review. Today I will be reviewing episode 20 of season 2, Endgame, and yes, it is the end of season 2, unfortunately. I mean, it ended a week ago, but I only just got around to watching it. However, my reviews will not be, my reviews will be over, but my videos will not be over, I will be talking about other things, but I will get to that later, maybe in the description and in the post. Anyways, let's just get straight into the episode. So, I'm going to talk about some of the more plotty things first before I get into just the emotional crying and screaming, because there will not be screaming on screen, but I did definitely make a lot of noises while watching this episode. So the episode opens on Rimbor again, which we've only been kind of briefly going to, and it's the Justice League's trial has reached, the jury has reached a verdict, or the council, and they have been found guilty. And there's this like great tiny moment with Hawkman and Hawkwoman, and they just kind of like look at each other and are really sad. And then of course, Miss Martian, Superboy, and somebody else who I'm not really sure who they are, they show up and they're like, wait, we have new evidence. And while my first thought was, wait, Superboy can fly now? The point of this sequence that was really nice with this whole Rimbor arc is that we got to see Connor and McGann working together again after they'd been so estranged for most of the season, and then like really awkward, and then McGann was kidnapped, so of course they didn't really interact. But like seeing them interact and like work together and play off of each other was really nice. And also it's weird, but I think this is the happiest that Connor has been all season, which is very interesting considering, like, I don't know, it's just nice seeing the progression of his character in general, because he was already significantly less angry in the beginning of season 2, but now, even though in this like high crisis stress moment, he was really, really happy seeming, and that was fabulous to me. And so of course we have McGann and Connor presenting this new evidence that, and well, this more, which is like this really convoluted logic thing that was actually really smart, but also really convoluted, about getting more like trials with the Rimbor High Court, and the Justice League is freed. Hooray. And then they return to Earth where all the important stuff is happening. So you have this sequence where, you also have this scene aboard the, Reach's ship where scientists and Black Beetle are talking, and then Aqualad, Green Beetle, and Blue Beetle come in and try and, like, to infiltrate the ship, along with the rest of the team who are fighting elsewhere. And I don't know, I just really like this bit because Black Beetle has some really cool dialogue. Like, he says, like, I am sufficient, which is, it's kind of Juggernaut-esque fighting machine-ish because he's so, like, big and hulking, but it's also, like, it's a lot more coherent than that, and it also speaks to, like, the subservience. It, like, gives him a lot of depth in very few words. Like, there's a, like, level of subservience in the way he talks. Like, when he says freedom is overrated. Like, it's a cool line, but it's also just, like, servitude is somewhat built up into his system. As much as he just wants to fight everything and anything, and he actually does, like, take out the ambassador, servitude is built into his system. Like, he says, like, we live to serve and all these things in other episodes, and that was just, like, a really interesting moment before he was, like, turned back into his regular Reach person, which I didn't even know they could do that. That was kind of like a moment where it's like, wait, did they have this power before? But I didn't question it too much. And I mean, I don't know, my, like, note literally says, at least he's wearing pants. Like, that was my takeaway from that scene. And, okay, so of course, the problem is that the Black Beetle's already set in his motion his plan to destroy the Earth, which I don't really understand this bit where it's like destroying the Earth erases all evidence of the Reach invasion, because I'm pretty sure destroying the Earth just leaves behind the lack of an Earth, and, like, the lack of an Earth is a huge, like, that is evidence. The Earth cannot just disappear and blow up and, like, its magnetic field be distorted or whatever it is that they were trying to do because with the comic book mumbo-jumbo science here. And of course, they had that one line when they were discussing how to deal with this, there's no failsafe, this is an endgame. And I'm just like, really, Greg and Brandon? Like, you really had to do that? Like, this is, like, failsafe is, like, the, like, worst moment of everything in the history of Young Justice, and, like, it is the moment where all the fans cried and cried and cried, and then we're angry that it was actually simulation, but still cried, and also we're actually happy that it was simulation because not everyone was dead, obviously, but, like, it just, any reference to failsafe is just a sure bet, like, stab in the, like, heart, in the emotional heart, and, like, that was just a really, like, they really enjoy toying with their fans, but that moment was just, like, a really moment, and I know I've dwelled way too long on that line, but, like, gosh, that moment was just, ugh. And then, I don't know, my notes were very, like, incoherent and like, full of curse words during that bit. And then, well, of course, we move on to, like, Lex Luthor being like, well, it's my planet too, let's save it, which, suspicious, I didn't like that, but, like, the point was, obviously, that all the teams got together, like, they had this great panning shot of, like, all the superhero families, like, how they blend into each other one by one, but you see them all together in groups, and it was just a really, really heartwarming moment, and I was just like, oh, I'm so happy to see them all together, because at this point all of the Leaguers have come back to Earth too, ish, not really, and like, well, like, a lot of the Leaguers were around, sorry, no, the Leaguers had not come back to Earth yet, I got confused, but like, you used to see all these families standing together, like, these superhero families supporting each other, and then like, it was just a very, like, I know everyone said that the last episode was, like, Titans Together, but I think that was my big Titans Together moment, like, where all the superheroes were standing as one, and I mean, of course you had Lex Luthor too, but no one cares about him, like, ugh, go away, I know you're Superboy's daddy, but, like, whatever. Anyways, ugh. And then, of course, there was, like, and then there were all these, like, the teams fighting, and, okay, and then there was, like, Lagan being stupid again, and I was just like, okay, Lagan. And then we have Kid Flash and Artemis pairing up together, and of course Kathy was really, really happy because, OTP, and, I don't know, like, beyond, like, any shipping, which, I mean, there was a whole ton of shipping in this scene, like, shipping stuff, like, stuff that was shippable in this scene, like, and beyond that, it was just a really cool scene, like, I mean, seriously, Artemis is, like, Wally is running really, really quickly. He's holding Artemis in his arms. She literally leans over backwards and shoots an arrow, and, like, it hits. Like, I know it's, like, implausible as all hell, but, like, that was a fantastic moment. Like, that, like, in these kind of moments, obviously, you just have to suspend disbelief and be like, Artemis, you are the coolest person alive. Like, actually. And, oh god, let's not even talk about liveness versus deadness yet, but, like, I don't know. It was just a really, really great moment, and it was also really sad because it was, like, a moment of, like, reminding her how much Artemis loves being a hero again, because she's finally a hero after being undercover as Tigress for so long, and it was just, yes, I loved it. Like, beyond any shipping, like, that was great, too. And then, of course, we have Virgil, and, God, I don't even know his name, the other electricity guy, like, that was a really just a cute moment of, like, developing, like, I know the show has been canceled, but, like, developing towards any plausible, like, futures where, like, there's more expansion on the team, and it was just really nice. And then, of course, though, like, the moment, I knew the ending was coming, but, like, after all of that happened, like, I was like, that was way too easy. Like, that was my big thought, was that was way too fast, that was way too easy. Obviously, there's still more to come. We've not actually reached the climax of the show. And so, of course, you have the bit where there's actually a 21st machine thing that's disrupting the magnetic field in the Arctic, and it was, like, hidden by Earth's own magnetic field, some science mumbo-jumbo, and then Flash and Impulse go and try and run it with it, and Kid Flash, I'm just, no, I mean, I'm a melodramatic person, but I literally sat at my desk watching this episode with the Graces I had ordered in front of me, eating it and crying by myself. Like, that was the reaction I had to that moment in the episode when Kid Flash seizes. I mean, everyone, and I'm kind of among them, refuses to believe he's dead, but I mean, like, God, that was just a horrible, horrible moment, and, like, why would you do that? And no, like, why? I'm sure everyone has seen, like, how much I've been, like, reblogging all of the sad Young Justice things, because I've just, like, exploded everyone's dashes with them, but, like, I just, no, like, it makes sense logically, he's slower than them, like, the power's gonna be, like, attacking him, like, whatever the electricity thing was, and, like, it was just, but no, and then, I don't know, and then the fact that you have so much grief left on the whole team, with Artemis, with Impulse, with Nightwing and Calder, like, this, like, the fact that Artemis puts on her villain outfit again, and is, like, she's going to be Tigress on the team now as a good guy, as a blonde, as she says, which is a great line, but, like, that's just so, like, the amount of, like, grief that is conveyed in that one action is so great, and, like, so heartbreaking at the same time, and seeing Bart in the Kid Flash suit is really, really disorienting, because he's so tiny now, because Kid Flash is so tiny now, sorry, but, like, and that was just a really awful moment, and then actually, probably the moment that hit me more than anything was when Dick was like, we founded this team, and he needed to take time off, and it was just beyond horrible. Like, I don't even know how to do this, like, and I just, I don't know how to handle this. Like, I have become so emotionally attached to this show, and then, of course, it has to go and, like, stab me in the heart in the worst possible way. And then, like, not even just in the worst possible way of killing Wally, but then, like, continually stabbing me in the heart by, like, showing everyone's grief in the worst possible way, but, of course, also the best possible way at the same time. And then, of course, but, like, of course, in the wake of, like, that sadness, you have, like, everyone else getting together. Like, you have Tim and Cassie and the whole life is short thing, which, I mean, I'm always like, that line's kind of cheesy, but, like, that was good. And then you have Connor and McGann reconciling, and then they're interrupted by team report to the mission room, which is just, I love that there's an echo. Like, it's awful and horrible and sad because, like, the team has changed so much and everything's gone to shit, and, like, but it's just a nice, like, callback to season 1 when they were just, like, teenagers chilling in the kitchen, like, eating McGann's cookies and having that, like, interruption again. Like, that was just a nice echo. There have been so many, like, really, really, nostalgia-inducing echoes in this season so far, and especially towards the end, and that one just, like, I think it probably takes the cake. And I don't know. And I have in my notes that I was like, I love that the ending, that they just kind of left it open, like, so should they ever return for season 3, which, praying to God that they will, like, even though it's been canceled, like, I really like that it was just, like, a nice open ending, but it still, like, gave some sense of closure. And then, of course, my last note is, but I'm just filled with a chasm of sadness, which is essentially how I feel about this, like, this whole situation. I'm literally, like, post-watching that episode, I sat there and I was like, I am emotionally non-functional for the rest of this weekend. And, like, the only reason why there's not more screaming and yelling in this review is because I'm, like, kind of emotionally drained from doing that yesterday. And so, yeah, I just don't even know how to deal with this. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And, like, this show, through all its hiatuses, has been so much a part of my life that I'm just like, now what do I do? I mean, I was kind of putting off my, like, ending of it for me because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it until a week after the actual episode came out. But it's still just like, I just don't know. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling about how I don't know anymore to the camera and just and get to the actual posting this episode now. So, bye guys.